In 2027, we will have different political influences, and Peter Obi does not need to enforce his will on Nigerian people. Should the election be rigged, should that election be rigged, Peter Obi will only be just like a passerby. He will not know how it will move. And that is why we should not, for any reason, support any narrative spinning that want to demonize the ADC because of certain politicians that are in that party. And if in case you don't know, and I've said it in my close circle, it will only take someone who is a loyalist of Bola Ahmed Tinubu and his government and whatever attendant disastrous government they are running, or an ignorant person to think that the ADC should not prosper in the face of the current political dynamics in our country. Again, ignorance or being wickedly supporting this party. If you know that the only way to sustain this democracy is by a viable opposition, you will support this opposition that is standing. It doesn't mean that everything is best. It doesn't mean that these guys are the best. But we need to have an opposition, not these mushroom parties of AAC, Labour Party, PDP, cannot work. Enforcing PDP to stop that their 60 years projection that former party National Party Chairman Vincent Ezeugbula projected in 2008 that the party ruled Nigeria for 80 years. It took the APC to come together, several political parties, to merge to stopping that thing. Whether or not this has produced quality governance is a different ballgame entirely. But we must understand that any development or progress that is not precipitated on political participation, on democratic principles, will not last. And the reason why the PDP failed was that though they had good plans or better plans than the APC, but they were not also able to allow democracy to thrive. And it took plenty political parties and influencers to come together to force the PDP against their will. Now, if you look at the trajectory that what is upon us right now, you will know that it will only take a measure. Now, let me give you a tip of the iceberg how bad things are with our current situation, so you know why we should not support any narration, whether it's from Showoro or anybody trying to spin narrative. Guess what? They are scared. They are scared. And if you know what happened in 2023, it was because Peter Obi was the only anchor of the movement. That's why he was scared not to have. He tried to control it and made us believe that he knew that the judiciary was going to be a joke, but he did his best to ensure that the country was safe. In 2027, if Bola Ahmed Tinubu and his cohort wants to end the country, let them go ahead and do what he did in 2023.
This time has come. The whole of us are going into ADC, and we shall remove the cancer that has held Nigeria down since 2015. We will remove that party that promised change, but not change. The party brought death and destruction to Nigeria.
Yes.
And so I wish everyone well and want to pledge my loyalty to our chairman, Mr. David Mann, and my party. My party.
Yes, sir.
Which party is my party?
To propose a move that we all join the African Democratic Congress as a party that we shall use for the South is to get back to the federal government of Nigeria. Realizing that since 2015 we have been excluded as a people, and we understand what that means. We are thirsty, we are hungry, we are desirous. We have explained other platforms, and we are conscious of the fact that the platform that will satisfy our aspirations, justify our participation A part that will be there for all will be the African Democratic Congress. I therefore move that we all adopt, accept, and massively register to be members of the ADC starting from today. So,
I'll give you a bit of background. We've been hearing, of course, everywhere, that since February of 2025, there will be report of NNPC not remitting funds to the Federation account. In February, it was reported that about 13.7 trillion naira were not remitted to the Federation account. In August, it was World Bank said that over 500 billion naira was not remitted. In September, another 2 trillion naira were said not to have been remitted, not to have been accounted for, even with the Petroleum Industry Act now in view. Or guess what? Mele Kyari, who was Group Managing Director, is only being quizzed by EFCC, and the prosecution is not even at the loudest. They are playing politics with it only because of $7.2 billion allegedly said that was money meant for turnaround maintenance of the 3 refineries in Nigeria. Until tomorrow, we don't know what's happening with that case. Nothing is being said. The oversight function of National Assembly has been silent on that. A couple of days ago, Bola Ahmed Tinubu wiped off, forgave, wrote off over $5 billion that was owed by the NNPCL to whether foreign and local contractors and generally liabilities. Wiped it off. Listen, $5 billion have been wiped off by the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria that the NNPC is owing. Why? Because they are getting ready to sell NNPC. They want to put it out in public. So it is a while. This is the beginning of the process. So they are wiping off debt so that they can buy it over. And you think we don't need a viable opposition? There have been many instances in this country in the last 1 year that would have taken Nigerians to be on the street to demand that this nonsense stop. But because of this mushroom party association, small parties that some people like, that's why we are not together. We need one umbrella. We need one camp. We need one group to be able to enforce that Nigerians demand that democracy must thrive and governance must be by the people. In all of this, you have heard now which one has been the front burner, which one has the opposition fought, which one has the government explained. How does a president unilaterally wipe off debts and nobody is being persecuted for all of this? What did they use the money for? As I talk to you, the 3 refineries in Nigeria are no longer working. Over $7 billion. Over $7 billion wiped off clearly and nothing happened. And then you tell me that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. How much did Dangote use in building his refinery? Till tomorrow, we are still asking what was NNPC's stake in building a refinery? Monies were borrowed in trillions of naira. But what we later heard was it was only 2 trillion. Over 20 trillion were allegedly borrowed as investment of NNPC, as Nigeria's investment in Dangote. We later it was 2 trillion. Who is in jail for it? Again, you are either a Tinubu supporter or you are ignorant of the situation that we are in. Finally, if we want to have a nation, we need to have I am not comfortable with a lot of persons in that coalition, but I don't care. If there is one man that I can see, and there is hope, and the man looks right, I will support the man. Because we are the same party, we will not go to cast aspersions on anybody. I also do not want to attack anybody. We are going to work together to get Nigeria right. Well done to Atiku, well done to all of them. But you see, it will take only a man with a cult-like following to demand that Tinubu's government end in 2027.
So as we move into the coming electionary period, it is no longer a case of 4 persons tweeting. It is a case of sitting senators, sitting House of Representatives members, and let me also assure you that our voice will be better heard now.
Yes, sir. Some politicians are celebrating P2B's ADC membership to the extent that even Sheikh Gumi announced P2B's ADC membership. Now, the question is it now possible for an Igbo man to be the president of Nigeria? And let's be very clear, the saying that Igbo man will never be the president of Nigeria does not mean that northern Nigerians dislike the Igbos. No. As a matter of fact, northern Nigerians relate far better with Igbos than any other ethnic group in Nigeria. But when it comes to politics, forget it. So all this celebration is not necessarily about Peter Obi's ADC membership. It is about a successful transaction of the southeastern vote. By joining the FDC, Peter Obi has negotiated and have agreed to cede the block vote of the southeast, the Igbo people, to the north as usual. And my point is this: before anybody at all will discuss the political future of Ndi Igbo with any northern politician, northern Nigeria have to sit down with the Igbos, not Peter Obi. We grew up hearing that Igbo man will never be president in Nigeria, not Peter Obi. If the Igbos in any way have erred, we will apologize. But we need to thrash these issues out before anybody will discuss about the block vote of the 5 states of the southeast with any northern politician.
The senior senator asks in the eye of America.
ADC, ADC. Let's see who is running in first. Mr. David Mark, Chairman of ADC. This is the logo of the party on this cap, and I'm going to wear this cap for the first time. Let me also announce that this morning I resigned from the All Progressive Growing Alliance. So as of now, I am fully in ADC. Following my brother and our leader, Mr. Peter Obi, I wish all of us well, and I know that we are going to get there. When I was giving my last interview, and they were asking me, how do you think it will happen? I told them, every woman knows what Mbodu means. Now it's Mbodu.
Has taught me so much, the good and the bad. Distinguished Senator David A.B. Mark, National Chairman of the African Democratic Congress. Distinguished leaders, our leader, Ogute Peter Obi, distinguished leaders gathered here, particularly of the Southeast region, and all their friends, leaders of the Southeast, ladies and gentlemen. It is with a sense of humility and conscious of the fact that history is being made today that I accept the rare honor to do the needful. The needful is that several Nigerians, and indeed, most importantly, of the Southeast extraction have been waiting for this moment to come. Am I speaking what you know? Your Excellency, Senator David Mark, you have heard Ogude, he has made the formal announcement. My job is to propose, realizing the fact that by His grace and by virtue of my responsibilities in the past, I was part of nurturing our democracy till these days. Worked very hard to stabilize multi-party democracy in our country. Very well aware that there is no democracy without opposition. In our time in the federal government, we ensure that opposition had their voice. Consequently, I do move, I do propose that all of us representing the vast majority of the Southeast political players in our country, men, women, youth, and indeed the special citizens.
Welcome back to the channel. So Peter Obi's chances in the ADC primaries are gaining serious momentum, because everywhere now a lot of people are talking, and many Nigerians that believe that ADC handing its presidential ticket to Peter Obi is going to shake the entire political structure ahead of 2027. So many Obedience says that Obi represents unfinished business, and they are saying that despite the controversies of the 2023 election, Obi proved he has a solid nationwide support base, especially among the youths, urban voters, professionals, and the frustrated middle class. So now, giving him the ADC ticket is seen as a second chance to confront a system many Nigerians feel has failed them. Now, what has really fired up this whole thing is the idea of Kwakwanso coming in as Obi's vice president. And that would be a good idea if he will accept. That's the truth. But do you think the North is going to allow that? That's another thing. So Nigerians, they believe that this combination is not just strategic, but it will be very dangerous to Tinubu's re-election plans. And no matter how he tries to rig with these two combinations, probably the North is not going to vote him, and he can't get any votes from Southeast. So Obi brings massive support from the South and parts of the Middle Belt, while Kwakwanso controls a loyal political structure in the North, especially Kano and other neighboring states. So they're threatening, this whole thing is going to threaten APC's traditional strongholds. Now, people say that Tinubu's government has made this alliance even more powerful, because with the whole thing that is happening in this country now, everything has pushed a lot of people out, and for them to start looking for other alternatives. And for these Nigerians, an Obi Kwakwanso ticket feels like a protest vote turned into serious challenge. Many ADC supporters are urging party leaders not to play old politics, and they believe giving Obi the ticket will instantly put ADC on the national map and also attract millions of voters that feel abandoned by APC and PDP. So this is what they are saying. They are saying that ADC has nothing to lose and everything to gain if they just listen to the streets and make Obi their flag bearer with Kwakwanso as the vice president. They just believe that Tinubu's 2027 ambition will face its toughest battle. So what's your take on this? Do you think ADC is going to allow Peter Obi to be their flag bearer? Well, let me know what you think in the comment section. And if this is the first time joining my channel, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.